Why don't we kick off? Welcome everybody to this session on nuclear disarmament challenges, opportunities and next steps. I think there are some who are going to come and join us, but we'll kick off. I don't know about others, but I have to say the last session was something that almost made me decide that I should take premature retirement from the Foreign Service. If one focuses on the difficulties, there are many. In this session, we'd like to look at the challenges ahead and the practical next steps and the opportunities. And we have a very distinguished group of participants and speakers. We have Deepti Chube, who's Deputy Director of Nuclear Policy Program for the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in the United States, who will be talking about the need for US leadership and the NPR. We have Eugene Mianesnikov, Senior Research Scientist, Center for Arms Control, Energy and Environmental Studies at the Moscow Institute for Physics and Technology, who will be talking also about START follow-on and the challenge of further US-Russia disarmament. We have on my left Giorgio Franceschini, who's Research Associate at the Peace Research Institute at Frankfurt, who will be giving a European perspective and looking at the conventional nuclear paradigm, as well as the issue of benchmarking, which will take us quite neatly onto our final speaker, Åse Marie Fossum, who's advisor for Norwegian Radiation Protection Authority in Norway, who will be talking about the practical aspects, in particular the Norway UK work, which is quite unique in bringing together a nuclear weapon state and a non-nuclear weapon state, looking at what sort of cooperation is possible under verification. An issue which Mark Fitzpatrick, who can't join us today, but is in another session, wrote at some length about in the Adelphi paper, which those of you who haven't read it, I would certainly advise that you do. It was published about 18 months ago, on what are the practical underpinnings for taking forward this important area. And just a few words from me as the chair. I spoke earlier a little today about the legal structural framework that we need if we are to get onto the road free of nuclear weapons. In essence, there are four things that we need to do. We need to have a commitment to disarm. We need to have a commitment not to acquire. We need to have a commitment not to test, and a commitment not to produce the raw material. Any nuclear scientist would tell you that if you get those four, you are on the road. Inevitably, you are on the road. But, as we know, we only have three of those commitments, and one of them has not entered into force yet. And the fourth commitment, the FNCT, is blocked in Geneva. So I think in terms of the strategic overview, we do need to keep in mind that we are some way yet from getting onto that road. Nonetheless, there is scope for action, and it is the UK's ambition at the next review conference that we should have action plans across all three pillars, that there should be practical steps taken on all three pillars to make sure that we actually implement the commitments that we've made to date. And that is a collective endeavour. It will require individual and collective responsibility. So the UK has made clear from our public political statements our commitment to a world free of nuclear weapons. And this session, I'm very pleased to say, is other nations talking about the practical steps which we feel are particularly important as we move forward down this debate. So without further ado, I will now hand over to Deepti Chube, who is going to give us the first presentation.
Great, thank you very much, and I also wanted to thank the organizers.